my name really is Julie. But in French, Jolie means purty, and I like that. Now him, over there. That's my husband. His name's Lester. But everybody calls him Villain. And if you don't talk French and you don't know what that means, I'm going to tell you now. It means ugly. So together with Jolie and Villain, we're pretty ugly. Now, does anybody know what Cajuns say when they're having a good time? Bon temps, that's right. You can't play the French game later. You was the one laughing when I say Villain. You already knew, huh? When Cajuns are well, let's see, we're going to have to do this. Okay, when I say A, you say E. A. E. A. E. When I say A, you say E. A. E. A. E. Now we're going to put that together and sound like, you try it. Oh, y'all are not ready for me. I'm going to sit over here. God, this thing's tall. Don't be afraid, I am a professional. Take your time. Take your time. I gotta put some stuff on over here. I brought a lot of stuff just in case. You gonna need some help getting way up there? Let's see. Let me put it down and we'll pull you back up again. Oh, I'm not that strong. Okay, there you go. There you go. And what's your name? Eric? How old are you, Eric? 6. How did you break your arm, Eric? This time. That's what I heard earlier. There's a this time to that story. That usually means you've done this one more time before. You did this once and you liked it so much you're doing it again. It is the story of when a little Cajun boy met an alligator for the first time. And it's funny that your name is Eric, because the name of the little Cajun boy is Eric. Can you guess how old he was? He's 6. Wow, that's a coincidence, huh? Well, there was this little Cajun boy named Eric, and we're going to hide Eric from most of you, so it'll be a big surprise when we're done. And Eric lived in a little bayou town, and his daddy had started a fire outside. And his daddy told him to go out in the forest, go out in the swamp, go look on the bayou side, go look everywhere, we need some firewood. So that's what he was doing. Kids, close your eyes real lightly. Not so tight. There you go, just like that. So little Eric was going in the forest, and he was looking in the forest, and he was looking on the bayou side, and he was looking in the bayou, and he was looking in the swamp. When he came upon this really, really strange looking log, a log like none he had ever seen before. This log was about 13 feet long, and it was green, not brown, so that was a little confusing. And he found it laying on the side of the bayou. Well, so he saw that, and he hadn't really found any other firewood that day, so he got back for the firewood, and he picked it up, and he carried it on his back all the way back to his house. And when he got it back to his house, they will bite you. They are wild animals. And he said, oh, okay, Daddy, I had never seen an alligator before. I didn't know that that's what that was. So the next day, he decided that he wanted to go for a swim in the bayou. Yeah, you guessing, huh? So he went for that. He walked through the forest. He got to the bayou, and his daddy had told him, you got to be very, very careful of them alligators. So So he was trying to be careful of the alligator, and he was looking around and looking around, and he looked all over in the forest. He didn't see the alligator. He looked all the way in the swamp. He still didn't see no alligator. He looked on the bayou side. He didn't see no alligator. Then he looked in the bayou. He still didn't see no alligator. Well, so he was thinking, oh, well, maybe I might get to go swimming today. And then he saw something that looked a little peculiar. He saw a very strange looking log in the bayou, floating on the top. And he thought to himself, you know, yesterday I thought that was a log, but it wasn't a log, it was an alligator. So, I don't know, maybe this is the alligator. Because it don't really look like any log I've ever seen. So he said, excuse me, Mr. Log, are you a log or are you an alligator? Well, that alligator figured out he wanted to get even for that little boy throwing him in the fire. So he said, I'm a log. And he said, oh, really? You're a log? Well, I wanted to go swimming in the bayou today. Would you like to swim with me? And the log said, why, yes, I would love to go swimming with you, little boy. So Eric, still being careful, because he didn't want to make the same mistake he had made the day before, said, well, Mr. Log, I would love it if you come swimming with me. How about if you swim to the side of the water, the side of the bank of the bayou, and then when you get there, you and I could swim together. He said, oh, I'd love to do that with you, little boy. So the log started to swim to the side of the bank. And when he got almost all the way to the side of the bank, Eric told him, ha, ha, ha! I know that logs don't swim, and most of all, logs don't talk. So I know that you are not a log, you are the alligator, and you are trying to trick me, but I'm too smart. Ha, 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 ha. Well, you can imagine that alligator was not too happy that he didn't get to munch that day, right? So, the next day, that little boy still wanted to go for a swim. Eric still wanted to go for a swim in the bayou. But he knew he had to be very careful because now he knew all about alligators. You're doing very good, Eric. Thank you for being such a good model for me. So Eric went walking through the forest again. So he looked in the forest. He didn't see the alligator. He looked in the swamp. He didn't see the alligator. He looked on the bayou side. He didn't see that alligator. Then he looked in the water, in the bayou. And he still did not see an alligator. And not only did he not see the alligator, he didn't even see any strange looking logs. So he figured, today's the day I get to go swimming in the bayou. So he was getting ready to jump in. And he was taking his little shorts off because he had his swim trunks on underneath. And as he was getting ready, where do you think that alligator was? Where? Behind him? No, he wasn't behind him.
Under the water.
Under the water. He was hiding under the water and only the tippy tip of his nose was showing. So Eric did not know that alligators could do that. So Eric was getting ready to jump in. And that alligator just saw him coming. And that alligator figured, ooh, I'm getting me a good meal today. So he was getting all excited, licking his lips. And then when Eric jumped in the water, the alligator opened his mouth, and Eric Eric jumped right into that alligator's mouth. Well, all of a sudden, the alligator from inside his mouth hears, "Hello, Mr. Alligator. It's me, Eric. Remember me from yesterday's? You know, yesterday, when I fooled you, I said, ha, ha, ha. But today, you fooled me, and all you said is, Now, what's the difference between and ha, ha, ha? What?
He's talking with his mouth full.
With his mouth not full, but wide open, right? So when the little boy told the alligator that, the alligator did not want to be shown up by this little boy. So the alligator said, I can laugh louder than you. So laugh, open your mouth wide and say, ha, ha, ha. Go ahead. And you notice you have to open your mouth to say that, and when you do, Eric jumped out of that alligator's mouth. And he ran back. And that alligator was not happy because that alligator now did not have any food for the day. And if you wonder what Eric would look like inside an alligator, it would look like this. You like it, Eric? All right, give Eric a big hand. He was a good sport.
We're going to tell you blocking the camera. Put him next door. Hey.
Teen Cajun girl. That's okay. We're gonna pretend. What's your name? What? Kobe? We're gonna pretend Kobe's a girl today. I'm sorry. I didn't have any girl Cub Scouts. You look more like a girl? Okay, this is the story of a little Cajun girl. And she's called the little melting Cajun girl because of a very big reason. Everything she touches melts. And that can become a very serious problem. And Cajuns tend to get married rather young. And her daddy wanted her to get married because after all she was 17 years old. But no one would marry her because everything she touched melted. But there was a cure. If someone could figure out something that she could touch that she would not melt, then they would be able to marry her. So people fought long and hard, and then one day, her daddy was the mayor of Chauvin, so he said, we're going to have a contest, and if anybody can come up with something that the Cajun girl would touch that she would not melt, they will get to marry her. So the first young man came up, and he gave her a pirogue made of wood. Wood doesn't melt, but guess what? As soon as she touched it, it melted. So then, the next person came up, and they handed her a little, well, not so little, diamond ring. That's not